All parties be advised, this is Jaeger. I have control, I have control. Firing on the T of 2. 5, 4, 3. Execute.
I rucked this morning.
It's beautiful weather, man.
It was perfect weather.
November 3rd here in Michigan, and we have like 70 degrees. I actually went to the shooting range and to zero my new scope before hunting season opens up.
Badass.
And I was literally fucking sweating.
It was 40 this morning and then 70.
Yeah, so
It's a pretty big
I
jump.
did a rock run as well. Today I completed challenge number 7 from Operation Win Today program.
Kick ass.
So it was 3-mile rock run under 45 minutes with 35 pounds dry. So that means water is not included in the weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I follow with the longest mile, which is basically 10 burpees, run 100 meters, 10 air squats, run 100 meters, 10 push-ups, run 100 meters, 10 sit-ups, run 100 meters for 4 rounds. So it will total equal to 1 mile of running.
Yeah.
And you do like 40 burpees total, 40 push-ups, air squats, and sit-ups. So it takes about I think I did 17 minutes or 16 minutes, something like that.
Oh, that's solid.
I think so. I mean, I probably not for CrossFit. Like those people, is it like typical CrossFit? So
I mean, yeah, if you're rushing through it.
there's some guys that can probably do this in 10 minutes.
Yeah, half-assed.
You know, I usually that's my running pace.
True. Well,
So-
I did a 3-mile ruck as well. I did it in 45, but I did not do longest mile right after that.
Okay.
But
Well, you're also not doing the challenges, right? I stick because I'm doing the challenges, so I kind of put myself in the no option mentality, right? This is the only day that I can execute this challenge, and I have to do it on Thursday. So yeah, that's what it was on the schedule, and I want to do one more round before we take a break before the spring.
I forgot how much rucking is a kick-ass start to the day.
It is, especially if you don't like running.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
You know, not everyone. I actually hate running. I was never good at running. I suck at running, but I still run. I at least run once a week, just because I believe it does help with cardiovascular and it will help me overall with what we're trying to accomplish in Operation Win Today. So if we want to help people to be better ready, rock run is the main thing. You have to be good at it, but overall you also have to be physically to run, especially if you're getting ready for some type of boot camp or you're getting ready for law enforcement agency. There's got to be some kind of running involved. So that's why I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to boot camp or law enforcement. Nothing that I'm planning right now. But I still want to keep the same mindset and help those people. Whoever, if they decide to change and be better ready, they follow this program. There's going to be running involved. Me, as a person that is in charge of this program, should be running as well. So it doesn't matter if I like it or not. I just gotta fucking do it.
True. I'm over here wondering why rucking is such a big thing with whether it's boot camp or military or anything. Is it practicality?
Dude,
Is that mainly just
So I'm from infantry lifestyle, right? So I was in infantry, and I was in scout sniper platoon, and actually, funny story. Let me go back to today. I'm going to the range. It's a public range, right? So a bunch of people mixed together, some hunters, some tactical cool wannabe guys, and name it. And if you look around, those guys, they invested so much in their gear, in the rifle, the gear, they're looking cool, but they out of shape. And they forgetting the most important aspect of this whole purpose of being tactical. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Military has the best equipment, usually, not always, but I would say we spend a lot of money on equipment. Mm-hmm. We spend a lot of money on gear, weapons, technology, everything. The main core of military, it's still physical fitness. Why? Because it's fucking important. Because when everything fails, we find out like vehicles cannot get you to the enemy quiet. Helicopters cannot get you there quiet. They can get you there fast for sure. And Osama bin Laden raid was done through those helicopters, and that's awesome. But a lot of basics will always fall to: can you put the weight on, and can you move for long distance, long hours, carrying heavy weight? That's what really matters, and that's what infantry is about. So if you're one of those guys that want to be tactical cool, that's awesome. Train your firearms. But what we're seeing over and over, in most cases, dudes invest too much in the gear and not enough in their physical fitness, ability to be able to be battle ready. There's a difference between, you can be a gym rat, that's cool if that's what you like to do, but can you still put a backpack on and can you move? Because that's really, if you're talking about, if you like what military stands for, you have to do ruck runs. You have to put the weight on your back and you have to hike relatively fast.
I think that's my furthest understanding of it, is just kind of how overall fitness, it really just, rucking kind of breaks down the most simple form of fitness. Carrying weight that's more than you,
right,
for as long as you can.
Yeah. This is what's going to fall if you think about any survival situation. It's gonna be put the weight on, whatever you can carry, and move. If you not physically fit to carry a lot of weight, then you're gonna carry little weight. You know what little weight means? Less ammo, less food, less water. Basically your essentials.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to cut down because shit's gonna get too heavy. So you have to be physically fit that will sustain you at least for those 3-4 days.
No, that's true, and I feel like the importance of it is the overall endurance.
Yeah.
And okay, if someone's trying to be tactical or anything like that, it is always gonna break. Because what if someone takes your gun, or your gun's gone, or you're in a situation where you don't have your gun?
Sure.
Now it's just you and what your body can perform.
Yep.
And being able to have that same performance and use a weapon at the same time, if you have that upper hand on someone,
yep,
you'll always win.
Well, and that's the thing. What we always preaching in Operation Win today, it's your tactics and maneuvers do not matter if your physical fitness is not there. So you can be expert in I have this cool gear, I'm doing tactical shooting, I understand maneuvers, cool gear, everything. None of that matters if you cannot do the same shit in the hard environment where shit is stressful. You have to stress your body. And we find out the best way to really get the most out of it and see how people react, because it's obviously hard to replicate a true life scenario being in war. Right, you have to be in war to be in war. Nobody's gonna shoot live ammo at you. Even some of the trainings could be realistic, shooting blanks at each other, and that's all cool. But it's still not the same, right? But what we find out, if you tell people to do physical exercise, it is burpees, sprint somewhere, run, and then stop and shoot and basically physically exhaust them, and continue operate your weapon in the proficient manner, that's what really changes you, and you're developing the skills and the conditioning to be able to fight under stress. And ruck run, when I was in the Marines, many times we hike to the range before we start shooting.
Hell yeah.
So you're by the time you get there, man, when I was in Okinawa, the backpack was light, so it wasn't the real hike, but you have to move, I forgot how many miles, to the range to start shooting. So
pretty solid warm up.
You have to be being able to do ruck run or do hike with the heavy weight. It's the basic of infantry. And if you want to be cool, you want to be tactical cool, you're not tactical cool if you cannot even ruck run or move with the weight. That's my opinion, period. Like, I don't care how cool you look on the range. If you're out of shape, it doesn't matter. I will take older guy with some rusty AK-47 that actually trains his body mindset. I will take him before somebody who has this cool looking gear, but it looks like it's out of shape, and he's not going to be able to survive even one day on the mission. And that's the truth.
No, it's a good point. It's like owning a drift car, but you don't know how to drift.
Yeah.
You know, like what's the point in having a drift car?
What's the point, right? And
you're still going to drive it like a normal car.
You know, people don't want to do it because it's fucking hard. Like, going shooting guns, it's fun. Doing the hard shit is not fun.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, like, oh, I love rocking. Like, yeah, in the big picture, I do like working out, but I never go to a rock run, to the run, or to the gym with a giant smile on my face. Like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm here. Like, no, it's like, fuck, I just gotta do it, man. Period. Like, there's no option. Like, today, this is what I'm doing. This is what's on the schedule. It needs to get done, right? Overall, you get the benefit after you complete it, where you feel good about yourself. Like, okay, I did what I promised to myself. I'm gonna do it. That's awesome. So there's a lot of reward afterwards. But prior to that, shit fucking sucks. I'm in the program right now where I do 1 rep max on deadlift and squat, bench press. Dude, my lower back today for the 3-mile rock run was
Probably
fucking
nasty.
tight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was like trying to run as much as straight, not leaning forward, because it was painful, right?
Yeah.
So that wasn't enjoyable. Now, am I happy that I done it now? Yeah, I do. But at the moment, I was like, fuck, this sucks.
Well, yeah.
And it's only 3 miles. It's not like long rock.
Well, what was you're like trying to keep under the 45 still?
Yeah, so we do, recommendation is to do under 15 minutes per mile.
Okay.
Once you start adding more weight, it's gonna slow you down. So you can do more weight, but slower. But you should still be able always to do that 20 mile per mile.
Or 20 minutes per mile.
20 minutes per mile. So you got 1 hour to do 3 miles, and then typically you will take short break. Now we don't do any breaks. We just go straight through it. So there's a different ways to really approach rock run. You can go heavier weight, and in the Marine Corps, I don't even know if I ever did 35. Like, when
Like
was the
never
top?
that light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also we didn't run. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
It was fast hike, but we didn't run because the packs were like 80 pounds.
Okay.
Shit was heavy.
What would be like so like a non-running, session of rucking?
Mm-hmm.
What would be like the normal weight and time that you would be aiming for?
Say that again?
Well, like if let's say you're saying normal, you want to keep a 15-minute per mile
Yeah.
pace, right?
Yeah.
But if the focus is increasing the weight,
Okay.
what would be like the weight that would be roughly standard to start in with like a focus being strength?
So I can give you this. With any of infantry battalion hikes I've been, our standard always been 45 minutes to an hour per mile, no more than 20 minutes, and then you get, every 3 miles you get 15-minute break, I think. 15 or 10.
Okay.
So you move for about an hour, you complete the 3 miles, you get to 3-mile mark, you take 10 to 15-minute break.
Okay.
You continue, and depending on how long it is, because it can be anywhere between 6 miles to 12-mile
Gotcha.
hike. But those are pretty, I would say, brutal, just because the weight. If you have to do like the 12-mile, like infantry, battalion hike,
Mm-hmm.
those quite suck after like 9 miles. Because they're just like heavy, dude. Your shoulder, like at this point, like you're just fucking around with your straps, like tighten
Yeah.
up, loosening them up to give your shoulders a little bit break, and put the weight on your hips because you have a belt. Then once your back gets kind of tired, you tighten the straps up to put more weight on your shoulders. So you're constantly just going back and forth.
Readjusting where the stress is.
Well, yeah, kind of to give break one area.
I mean, okay, so like with Marines then, is it usually like a heavier weight focus rather than like speed? when it comes to like
You
rucking
know,
standards?
Yeah, so I can only speak for the Marine Corps. Yeah, I don't know how is Army
Okay.
doing.
But
But
Marines
for the
mainly.
Marine Corps, it's usually heavier weight and just a little bit slower because they understand like you're never gonna be at 35 pounds. It's like we're talking about backpack.
Yeah.
Listen, 35 pounds. It's you have your vest, your backpack, and your rifle, and Kevlar, and that's probably about 30.
Well, yeah, that's a good point too, because if you got the rifle in front of you, I feel like it's evening out your back even more.
Yeah.
You know.
So on top of that, you put a. That was the one of the worst hikes when they tell you like you gotta wear the flag. Flag is basically the plate carrier.
Yeah.
Because that fucking main pack that we got issue and the flag, it does not work together, man. Like,
No.
it just sits weird, start digging in your shoulders. Like you can never get nice and tight on your bag. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like it's not designed to do that. If that makes sense.
But is that how that equipment is when you're actually out in the field?
Kinda. Like I never been on many like training ops where we were full kit out and have a backpack on. It usually
Okay.
we had it with us, but not necessarily carry. Not all the time, depending what field up you do. But being the sniper platoon, we usually try to, we do a lot of reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is basically go and kind of spy and scoop it out what's going on with the enemy and
Okay.
provide the information to the battalion.
Like a pre-mission type?
Not even pre-mission. Is it like we like the eyes and ears of battalion.
Okay.
So we have to get into the territory and provide information of what's going on. So when the battalion sends troops
Oh, I see what you're saying.
to attack, they know like, hey, this is how many you expecting. This many enemy fighters over there, like you name it. All the details we're trying to provide. So as you can think of, it's not necessarily the best idea to have a vest because you're not mobile. Mm-hmm. And that was like one of our main thing where we kind of complain in the whole infantry standard, because you look at the special forces, they drop a lot of their gear to be more mobile. And having too much gear and being too heavy just fucking sucks, because you can't jump over fences, you can't jump over walls, it's hard to climb shit up. So that was like one of our always, mental fight with dudes in the platoon, in the battalions, like why we cannot drop those stupid side plates, the one on the side, where we can breathe. It's cooler because it doesn't block you as much. It's lighter. We are more mobile, which it makes
would just
sense.
make more sense. Yeah.
It does, but it's always about. It's almost like the insurance. Like, oh, did you wear your seatbelt? Well, you see, you didn't. That's why you got hurt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like side plates. In case if you get shot right here, yeah, sure, they will protect you, but it's not that common to get shot on the side. Mm-hmm. Usually you will get shot on front. So
it's almost
those
like
units figure out like, hey, we just want to have a front carrier, the front plate, back plate, because most of the impacts, if they come, is going to be here on front.
So it's almost like the return of investment of wearing it is not worth it sometimes.
Yeah,
a lot of situations.
in the most scenarios, yeah, and nothing can beat being mobile.
Yeah.
If you shit it's too bulky, too heavy, and think about it. You take fire. First thing, what are you gonna do? Most likely, drop to the ground, return fire. You have to. I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. So you're gonna start bounding. So you get up fast. You run. Saying I'm up. He sees me. I'm down. That's how usually long it takes for enemy to get you on the side. If they see you, it's like this. If they want to shoot you, it's I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Fuck. Before he was able to pull the trigger. That's like pretty good statistic what they do. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. It's fast.
Yeah.
You can't run for 15 seconds because they're going to start shooting at you. So when you do those, when you start bouncing like that,
you gotta
right?
quickly advance in short bursts.
Yeah, when your shit is so heavy and you like it's all bulky and shit, you can't effectively execute the basic movement of taking
Advancing.
Yeah, fire.
No, that makes sense. What's okay? So then, what's because that'd be like really short, bursts of carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah.
What's the longest amount of time you've ever had to carry a shit ton of weight and get somewhere, and all you're doing is walking?
2017 ITX in California was 29 pounds.
What's ITX?
ITX is pre-deployment training.
Okay.
So, being, bigger frame dude overall in the platoon and in the infantry, like you'll also have to think, like I joined Marine Corps, I turned 29 in boot camp. So I was already old as fuck.
Okay.
Most guys, like, on average are 18, 20, right? You don't really develop, like, the big physique or, like, the man structure until you're probably later in your 20s, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just bigger structured dude because I was more mature, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? So when I was in the platoon, they make me a 50 cal gunner, which is basically M107. It's a 50 caliber rifle.
Just like a Brett 50 cal?
Like the Barrett.
Yeah.
You know the Barrett?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I always said Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett.
Barrett 50 cal.
I hope I'm fucking right.
Okay. I've heard both.
If I'm wrong, like it's just like a M107.
Whatever. I mean, that's a big ass gun.
So that gun on its own without magazine, it's 27 pounds. Okay? Each mag of 10 rounds of 50 cal, it's 10 pounds. So think about this. On deployment, I had my assault pack, which is a smaller backpack, not the big one, main pack, because we did like just kind of QR. We were like kind of quick reaction force.
Kind of like short time frame.
Yeah,
Okay.
like we didn't planning on camping anywhere.
Gotcha.
But I had my team leader, which I love to death. But he issued me the 50 cal, which was cool, but he also wanted me to carry M4. So now I have M4, I have that fucker cannon on my shoulder, all gear, like each mag it's 10 pounds, and I think I have 5. So just in the weapon system, I had like almost 80 pounds just in the weapon system.
Damn.
That's not including
anything else.
Another rifle, and like the basic stuff that we have to distribute between 3 of us. On the team, we have to have different optics, night vision optics and stuff. So all this stuff we need to, take with you.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of fucking gear. But the pre-deployment training, before we get to this deployment, I got put on basically like, hey, nobody wants to carry this fucker. You're going to carry
You're
it.
going to.
Okay. I was also like the newest guy there too, but it was almost like honor to me to do it.
Yeah.
Because it was a long gun. It was like, I'm like, that's a badass fucking weapon.
Well, did you know in your head, or did you feel in your head that you were the most capable of performing this?
No.
No? Were you? Or are you saying you didn't think that?
I think that was more dudes out there that were absolutely beasts.
Okay.
Great shape.
Gotcha.
But they have more seniority, and overall, so
this really is kind of like a earn your place type.
I mean, to me, it was privilege carrying the gun, just because it was fucking badass, man.
Yeah.
How often you can, that was my thing. That was like my issue to me. I spray painted, how I wanted to. It was my fucking gun.
Yeah.
And it was for pre-deployment training and deployment.
So then how far did you have to go?
So I don't know. Right now, it's been so long. But
Okay.
basically, let me tell you this. This is a story. So we end up pushing out. They take the 7 tons, which is like those big transportation vehicles, and to the drop zone, which is basically somewhere far away, so the enemy doesn't end up seeing you, hearing you. Like, they're gonna drop you off somewhere safe, and you're gonna have to hike your way up the mountain. Our goal was to get on this mountain.
Okay.
I forgot what range it was. I forgot exactly, what was the exactly location of it but it was in 29 Palms in California in the desert. And we got a radio battalion attached to us. So they supposed to go with us up to this mountain and set up the communication system. Basically, they have those big radios, antennas. They're gonna be the center of communication, so we can have a clear communication between them, battalion, and all the good shit.
They're kind of like just temporary home base.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're supposed to come with us.
Gotcha.
Listen, we go ahead, and so my team leader, man, like, he took off. The sand was soft, and he started fucking moving fast. It was
Soft sand, you're saying like it's hard to go through.
yeah. Well, you know, like every time you're pressing, it's like it's digging in.
Yeah.
Instead of like being on the asphalt where you just like, plowing through.
Yeah.
You like sinking in constantly, right? And he took off. He's a fast guy too. His name is Furia.
Okay.
And I was struggling, dude. I was literally having this cannon. You know, I only have one arm to swing.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, man, this is like, are we gonna continue with this pace all the way up there?
Oh, you're trying to like keep up with them.
Like, he moved fast for some reason. I
How
don't know
many
why.
guys are there?
So I forgot how many dudes we had on our team. In the platoon was probably like 12 of us. But then you had about another 12 of the radio dudes, which we don't know.
Okay.
They supposed to just go with us.
Okay, so then you're saying all these dudes are trying to keep up with him? Or it's like a big deal for you because you got a ton of this
Well,
shit?
I was basically just shocked how fast we're moving because
Okay.
I'm like, okay, if I'm struggling and I'm good at like
This.
hiking and rocking usually, okay, and I can tell you that other story about me suck at running but be good at rocking. I was like, man, if I'm like, is it just me or like he's moving fucking fast? Well, sure enough, we start hearing like like what? Like, oh, somebody twists his ankle. Somebody else, they start falling out. This radio battalion. Long story short is,
Are they like behind you? In like
they were behind us. But long story short is, they call quits on going with us and continue moving forward. They said, we're going to set up right here on this mountain, like the baby mountain, and we're going to stay over there.
I mean, is it a big difference from them? Like if they, as opposed if they just followed through?
They were just not conditioned.
Okay.
We did the, in the sniper platoon, what's nice about it, usually you have dudes that are, a little bit above average, physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
You can, infantry overall, it's, I would say,
Kinda need to
decent shape, but, you have to go through this, testing before you get to the platoon and stuff. So, induct. So technically they testing you, are you physically fit and mentally fit for it. So you're getting better dudes on your teams. It's almost like, think about Navy SEALs and Special Forces. The reason why they do so much of like the brutal mental stress training is because they want to know when you graduate, you're going to fit in with the rest of those dudes, right? And they know when you come to their team, they most likely, they know, like even if you're a new guy, but they still know that they can trust you on this shit.
Yeah,
because
like you at least made it here.
Yeah, you made it there, so there is some proof that you can hang with them, right? So these dudes from the radio battalion, they calling quits. They can't move. We actually were worried about them, so one of our doc on our platoon ended up staying with them because they were in such a bad fucking shape.
Did you say a duck?
Doctor.
A doc.
Yeah, doc.
Oh, so
Doctor.
he was supposed to be with you guys, but he hung with them.
Yeah, so we were like,
I
okay, stay here with them because they fucking they look like they got ran over like a train, So a lot of like injuries start popping out. So that was in the beginning of it. We had a whole night of us fucking hiking up the mountain. That was probably like one of the most difficult terrain we took, and to be honest, that's how you're supposed to do it technically, because you never want to take the easy route. You want to take the route where enemy don't want to be.
Yeah.
So we took really heavy, like difficult route, like a lot of climbing, a lot of this like big steps. Me just having one arm because I had to keep the 50 cal on my shoulder. It was difficult movement, but we finally got there, and that was probably like the most. You were asking for like the most difficult one, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
So that was that one was probably one of like the most like hard terrain climbing mountains
Pretty rewarding.
with the big fucking heavy weight.
Would you say that that's like but you wouldn't say that's like your furthest distance.
No, that was because if you look on the map, wasn't probably like we actually.
It's because it's uphill and you're going through shit.
going like this, man.
Yeah.
It's just so difficult. So the
Damn.
distance wise is not the longest, but how difficult it is to move mountains. Like something strange about mountains when you look at them, and you see a mountain from far away. Like we were approaching driving during the day, and we saw the mountain that we have to go on, and be like, yeah, man, that's like 3 hour movement. When we got to the bottom that night, I think it took us 8 hours to get there.
Damn.
That's how it looks like a little mountain until you get there. You start moving like fuck. 8 hours later,
You also trying to like judge like it's probably not as steep as
yeah.
that looks.
We learn really fast after the first mountain. It's like okay, do never ever think it's going to be easy movement, and actually never was. Every single time because you run multiple missions during those 2 months you there. Never was easy movement.
You got to think of the advantage too, like just showing that you guys can outperform like the radio group you were saying.
Battalion, yeah.
You got to think those radio guys are probably in a lot better shape than most of the enemies, too.
Yeah, they probably
most
for
likely.
sure.
So
Yeah.
like if I'm saying if they're struggling and basically hitting a brick wall there,
You know,
having that upper hand on the enemy.
You know what it is?
Why
It's-
rucking and shit like that is so important.
I think it goes back to they just don't do it enough. They don't do enough of hikes to be conditioned to do it. You have to do those hikes to be able to hang
Yeah.
with the pace, you know. So yeah, I mean, fucking sucks for them, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of embarrassing if you think about it.
Especially
You know,
if
like
everyone's
it
just leaving.
Yeah, like it's just like okay, you guys supposed to come with us, but you can't make it. Okay, you're gonna stay here now on the bottom of the mountain, try to accomplish same thing what you're supposed to accomplish with us over there, but you physically cannot make it there. So, you know, and to be fair, because I don't know the whole story, there could be one dude who couldn't make it, and that will be enough to stop the whole like platoon,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that guy, he got injured. He can't do it. I don't know. Like people fake injuries too, just to get out of shit.
God.
You know. So
You ever-
people are
you ever had
I
to deal with that?
I twist my ankle. I can't hike anymore. Right. So people, you know, make shit up too sometimes. But let's say maybe it was. Look, it's a middle of the night with the night vision. You try and get to your observation post, right? If we halt the movement, then try and figure out, this is like, I'm on the watch of like, make sure like no enemies. So everyone takes their side and looking for enemies while they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a full details of like what happened with them. All what I know, because, you know, at the moment, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to, like, you're not going to get, like, school circle, like, yeah, what's going on, guys? Why we not, like, it's the middle of the fucking night. We're running mission. You know, it's shut the fuck up. One person, most likely my team leader, was there talking to their team leader, like, hey, what's going on? But, you know, figure the fuck out. And then we just, like, hey, we're moving forward. And then next thing you know, they in the back, they staying here. You know, like...
Okay.
At the moment,
yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to have those conversations like, hey, so what happened?
Yeah, no. I
You know.
figured it was just kind of like, hey, all right, split. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, that sounds about it.
Yeah. So that was pretty shitty hikes. That was pretty shitty.
But you guys were conditioned enough to perform it.
Yeah, you know what? It's...
Which is I feel
Nobody
like that's, like,
wants
the
to do
important
it.
part.
Everybody was pretty, you know, I would say bad shape by the time my biggest issue was always running out of water. I had to drink so much fucking water just so I can stay I would say not really dehydrated. So some people, like, I know dudes that can survive on fucking 3 liters of water, like 5 days. I drink 3 liters like in one movement, one hike, which is not necessarily good because that means I have to carry more water. That means it's heavier, and sometimes just don't even have enough space, or you can't physically fit more water because of the weight. So you just have to balance out. Like, okay, this 3 liter fucking camel pack, this is for my movement there.
You're just gonna have to deal with it.
Then I have Nalgene, which is basically, like the bottle, like the 32 ounces bottles. Let's say I have 3, for whatever. Like I start counting, like, okay, 1 day, 2nd day, 3rd day, how many I need to keep it very minimum, kind of be dehydrated, but like not dying. Because I can't take like fucking 5 gallons of water with me.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, but like it's not. And they did the water supply for us. The water supply was like 3 miles away. So we figure if we send 2 dudes to do water resupply, by the time they get there, they fill their backpacks and all the Nalgene and come back up, they're gonna probably fucking drinking all the water from try to make it up. So they're gonna probably come back empty-handed just because all the weight they could carry, they probably use it for hiking. Because again, you're talking about mountain moving down and up.
Yeah.
We like, okay, that's not possible. So we're just gonna have to figure out how to survive on little water.
Yeah, and then the
get
more
there.
water that you have, the more water you're gonna need to drink.
Which it's awesome. It's not a bad thing. I like it.
No. I'm saying like the more weight of water that you have to carry makes you more dehydrated, and you need more water.
So that was our
so it's
thing.
kind of like a
why
infinite.
So that's exactly why we didn't send anybody down.
Gotcha.
Because we're like, okay, like let's say we give them few camel packs, they're not gonna be able to carry them much. It's gonna be hard movement for them, hours. By the time they fucking come back, they're gonna be exhausting and probably drink their waters anyways. So we just need to. It just didn't make sense at that point.
It's why it's important to be able to carry a lot of weight for a while and be fit for it.
Yeah, survival. Survival is a real thing, man. You gotta be able to move, and this is really what separates most civilians who don't do the kind of shit and military personnel. Depending where you at and what you do for a job. But if you're in infantry, you're gonna have to get used to heavy hikes and difficult hikes, and that's something as a civilian you can be just as good at it if you do it, but you have to do it. If you just having cool gear, man, that's just having cool gear, but like that doesn't get you really like the battle ready, like the dudes talking about, right? I went to the range today, bunch of dudes like talking tactics. You overhear like tactical shit, and it's like, dude, like,
But it's like, can they perform it?
Yeah, like do one of those challenges that we did for Operation Win today, and then try to go to the range and shoot.
Yeah.
Let me know how if you can do it. That's awesome, man. Good for you. But like if you're out of shape and you're just depending on your cool toys and tools, like you're gonna be stopped by somebody that can just simply outlast you in the fight.
It's always that's gonna be the weakest link.
It's gonna be the weakest link. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start rocking?
This morning. Well, are you saying like what time?
No. When did you start? Like you
I didn't
pretty
rock
new
for a while.
You're pretty new to it, right? Or
No, I only ever I rucked a few times since remember you made that brick weight, right?
Yeah.
I've rucked a few times since then, but I've never consistently rucked. No.
Okay.
I just went at 6
You also
this
hate
morning.
running, right?
I hate running.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this. I was like, okay, well, because I guess what I wanted was something I can do immediately when I wake up, and I don't even have to get in my car, because I have a 27-mile trail that's right on the back of where I live. So I just thought, okay, why not just use that? So I got on that. We did a mile and a half out, mile and a half back, because my buddy Brendan had to be out by 7:30, so that was the time that landed. And then I don't know. I thought it was gonna kick my ass a lot more, and then because I did deadlifts, I went to the gym right after that.
Yeah.
And I felt totally fine.
That's good.
I didn't feel like my ass was beat or anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like it. I thought it was kick ass.
Did you measure time? How fast or no?
Yeah, it was 45 minutes.
It
was
okay.
pretty
So
damn precise. We got back at that time.
you walk fast, right? Yeah, you can keep up with the walking
We
pace.
didn't stop either.
15 to walk under 15, you pretty much is like counterproductive at this point. You run.
Yeah.
But if you ever gonna do like long distance, you're gonna have to figure out what works for you. Like for me, what works it's run, walk, right? Because I will start with the running, and let's say it goes from like 12 minutes to 13 minutes to 14 minutes per mile pace. And then once it hits 15 minutes, that means I'm slowing down on my running. I start just power walking really fast, right? And I continue making the 15 minutes pace, but walking instead of slow jogging, running.
Oh, because your power walk is already at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that gives me enough break for me to go back to running again. So then my pace picking up again. I'm going probably at 13 minutes per mile, then shifts to like 14 and 15 when I get more tired, and then I walk again. So that's kind of like my strategy to keep it under. I find out it works for me better than trying to get just in the mindset like, I'm just gonna run and never walk.
Yeah.
I can do that for like 3 miles, 6 miles, but once you start pushing like the 9 miles and 12 miles, I find out better, even on timing, for me it's to run, walk.
The whole time.
Yeah, pretty much just do like bouncing.
Keep that pattern.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense, because then it's like you're inching that level rather than just gassing yourself.
Yeah, plus
completely.
for those longer runs, I actually take, when I walk, I take my time to focus on hydration and snacking. So for the 3, 4, even 6 mile rock run, I don't need anything. But once you start pushing to past like 6, I like to have some kind of fruit or
Something.
some kind of quick sugar just to give it a boost. It really does make a difference. Like you feel that when they like either like one of those gels that you can eat, the squeeze the runners use.
Well, immediately makes your like stomach feel better in general.
It does, but like you really get like almost like a little bit of high, I would say.
Like a little ruck.
Well, you were like,
yeah, it's like your stomach turns on, and
when
that's half of your
when you
mood, too.
deplete all your sugar, right, and your carbs from movement, and then you give like simple sugar in, you actually like 5 minutes in after you ate it, whatever it was, you feel like fucking you have more energy. So like, oh, okay, because you ran on the empty fumes, now you add more fuel to it, so like you're good for another like 30 minutes, and you take usually every 45 minutes you would take one.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of sugar every 45 minutes. Actually,
wonder
one
what
of my
too much would be.
favorite is dice. Dice? That's how you say it? The fruit that like looks
Diced
like
fruit?
No, looks like a plum, but it's I forgot.
Oh, dates.
Dates.
Yeah.
Dates. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
those
what
are
I
really.
like.
Oh, yeah, those are super sugar dense.
Dude.
Yeah, those kick ass. They're good too.
They
I like those.
good as fuck. They taste like
It's
a
like
honey.
it's just a fat raisin.
Yeah,
That's really
so
all.
I'm taking those for my longer rock runs. I just put in my pockets, a Ziploc bag. I start eating those, man. Fucking work like a champ.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll probably get some dates. That'd be solid.
What gear do you use?
Well, my I was gonna use just my normal black backpack,
Okay.
but I lost the waist support for
Okay.
it, so I didn't want to use it. I used my buddy Brendan's backpacking backpack because it had
Okay.
it had the whole frame and everything.
Yeah.
But the only problem I found with those backpacking backpacks is the weight sits too high. Because everything is like raised up higher than a normal backpack.
That's kind of how we want it, though.
I know it's how we want it, but it was like too high. Like
Okay.
when you're wearing it, it's like whoa. It's like
okay.
top heavy.
Yeah, you gotta balance out, but
So I ended up replacing that ruck weight with like sandbags, and I put them lower, and then I put one higher, and then it felt really even.
yeah.
So that worked good.
Well, typical way of packing, it's you put the heavier objects higher and lighter on the bottom. But it still needs to be pretty even out, if that makes sense. So you need to have like no empty space in the back so shit doesn't shift and stuff. So there's a way of, art of packing the gear and backpacks. But general standard rule is heavy shit on top and lighter on the bottom because you want to have the weight sit higher. You don't want to have the weight all the way sitting on your ass, dragging you down, pulling you back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of typical rule. I use the GoRuck backpack just because they're really fucking toughest.
Yeah, I kind of realize I want one like after
They badass.
after not having one.
I have my GoRuck GoRuck 1 since like 2010.
And there's no holes or anything in it.
No, you saw it, man.
Yeah.
Like
No, that's what
there's
I'm saying.
like stitching is there, like nothing fucking happened. I put more miles with the weight in this backpack than anything that had been issued to me in the Marine Corps. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I had to replace my assault pack. It fucking fell apart. Like, the assault pack is basically smaller version of the backpack. We have two different ones, main pack and assault pack. Main pack is the one big fucker that you put sleeping system, all this shit. Assault pack is basically regular backpack size, so it's smaller. This shit falls apart all the time, man. That's
Yeah.
actually how I started.
GoRuck outweighs even like just military gear.
Yeah, it's not the best. When you're in regular infantry, you're not getting, like, people think military always gets the best gear. That's not true. We don't. The best gear what military gets is the special operation guys. Navy SEALs, they got their own kind of budgets and they can get away with non-issue shit. In Marine Corps infantry, you cannot have anything that is not issued to you. They only believe, even if you're willing to spend money for something like, hey, I'm not asking you to pay for it, I will pay for it because, and it will be
Still
better
can't.
for me. Nope. If it's not issued, you can't use it.
Damn.
In sniper platoon, we had a little bit more loose standard for like boots and stuff, but we still have to hide it. So we were like have our boots, then Marine Corps boots. Then we push out on mission. We would change them to something like they actually fucking works for you better, for your
Yeah.
feet. So we had a little bit looser standard because like think about ghillie. We make our own ghillies, right? Those are not fucking issue. Those are handmade. Like my first ghillie was actually
true, yeah.
made out of army camouflage. So it wasn't even Marine Corps camouflage, it was army camouflage. But there's no standard of what kind of ghillie do you have to use. It's
Okay.
just ghillie.
Because they never issue you a ghillie.
No. That's something when you get
you
to
have
the
to make it.
you get to the platoon, they show you, teach you, and
Okay.
you're gonna make one your own
That
and
makes
stuff.
sense.
So, but yeah, that's how I started actually with the rock runs. I started through GoRuck. That's how I find out.
Yeah.
So, going back a little bit, in 2008, I became a Krav Maga instructor, certified Krav Maga worldwide instructor. That's the name of the organization. So for those who don't know, Krav Maga is an Israeli system of fighting. Big difference between martial arts, traditional martial arts, and system of fighting. It's not traditional martial arts. It's a system of fighting. It adapts to current lifestyle, if that makes sense. So if you're looking at Krav Maga, somebody who is in the fighting stance, you couldn't be able really to tell if it's if that person is an MMA fighter or it's Krav Maga, because the stance looks the same. You just square here is not a boxer stand when you like some boxers still like do the one jab forward and kind of sideways. You stay square just like in MMA, so you can block kicks and stuff. So Krav Maga, it's a military system of fighting.
Okay.
So when I became instructor, I started training people. We start looking into different how we can be better instructors for our students, right? So we start looking into different tactical courses. So now we covering all the fighting aspects, hand-to-hand combat, weapon disarms, you name it. That's all Krav Maga, right? Then we add tactical training with the firearms on top of that to get more knowledge. And then somebody discovered, like, hey, there's a Go Ruck. What's that? Well, there's basically like Special Forces cadre comes and fuck your shit around for like hours. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Like,
Cool,
okay.
I'm in.
And like, well, they sell the toughest gear on the planet. That's what they say, right? And one of our friends ended up buying one. I'm like, holy shit, this is like real deal. This is not like just a regular backpack. That shit, like, this is it.
What was the first thing that told you that? The zipper?
Everything. Like, I look at the stitching, man. And then I start looking into this company, GoRuck. I'm like, man, they making some fucking legit gear, man. Like I love it, everything. The founder of GoRuck, Jason, man, I read his book. He came out with a book, how he started this company. And in the book, the first 100 GoRucks he got, I think only 2 of them passed the test. 98 were pretty much like, nope, this is not acceptable.
Oh, really?
Because we're like, he's
They're all like prototypes and stuff you're talking about?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Dude, he'd be standing on it and ripping the straps, like the shoulder straps apart. So he was like he want to be the toughest gear on the planet, and it is. I can.
That's kick-ass.
I'm telling you, I have one since 2010, one probably like 2014. Did GoRuck Tough, which is 8 hours here in Michigan. Did GoRuck Heavy in Fort Bragg. So I went to North Carolina Army Base, and that was GoRuck 21, which was actually pretty cool because I think they changed it now. But for longest time, I was in their commercial. For GoRuck.
Okay.
Because we didn't know, but the event that we went to in Fort Bragg, they actually had they had a crew like you with a camera, professional camera guy, that was recording the whole event of what's happening.
Okay.
And they put demo video based off that. So I found myself in their demo like 2 minutes.
That's funny as
in
hell.
like 3 or 4 different shots. I was like, oh, that's me over there. That's me over there. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. That event was 28 hours total. Yeah. So doing Krav Maga, doing tactical training, shooting, you name it. Now we discover like, hey, there's fucking physical aspect of it, like GoRuck, where those cadres, they advertising this as like, hey, do you want to have a little bit of taste of what it is going through selection process for special forces?
I see.
Just the taste. It's not the full deal, obviously. It's
28 hours.
Yeah, the first one, actually, what I did was, I think, GoRuck Tav, I don't know, is it 16 hours? No, not even. I think it's 12 hours. I think 12. I don't know. I forgot. Okay. But the first one that I did here in Detroit was GoRuck Tav. And, it's just tiny, basically, you have the 35 pounds weight on you, and you just carry more shit, actually, because they bring some weird shit. When I was in Fort Bragg,
bags and
dude, no, like they brought like engine.
Wait, like a car engine?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, like what? Like 5 guys got to pick it up or something? Or?
Well, it wasn't like the full block with every single fucking parts, but it was like the heart of the engine.
Yeah, like the metal.
Sense. So you had to carry, right? Like, so somebody has to carry. And basically how it works, what GoRuck really do, it teaches you how to work as a team. You can't win this battle by yourself. You have to depend on your team, because if I'm carrying something, sooner or later I'm gonna get burned out and be like, hey, I need a switch. Somebody else takes this weight, right?
Yeah.
And on and on. So like GoRuck gets excellent of teaching like teamwork, man, and bound the people together from different people that don't know each other, or decide they after like few hours they work all together for the same goal, and they can actually accomplish a lot more because they are a team.
Yeah,
as an individual, you fail. So that's that's the main thing about GoRuck. And
that's good.
Yeah. So we find out about GoRuck. I was like, man, fuck it, we gotta do it. And that's how I start training for ruck runs. I started doing ruck runs, start training. Did the GoRuck Tough. I don't know, like probably a couple of years later, or maybe 3 years later, Did the Go Rock Heavy, the one that I mentioned to you. That was badass fucking training, man. That was, it was cold. I had this dude next to me where
Did you say Go Ruck Heavy?
Heavy.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, yeah. So they have
That's like the title of the event.
Yeah, so they have different titles for different events. Go Rock they have like Go Rock Light, Go Rock Tough, Go Rock Heavy, Go Rock Selection.
Is it just like different focuses for the event?
Length and standards.
Okay.
What do you need to complete?
So then what's heavy? What?
Heavy is basically it's more than just Go Rock Tough. So heavy means more miles. I think we did over 40 miles total in 28 hours.
Okay.
Carrying more than just our 35-pound backpack, because those many times where they pretty much said like, hey, half of you are dead. Like basically you. So now I have my backpack and I have a fucking dude on top of that weighs like 180 pounds that I have to carry. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
Body carry. So obviously this is basically
like whoever they call as, okay, this guy's dead.
You got blown up.
Carry
You
him.
got blown up. You got blown up.
Damn.
So now you got your back. Somebody else will take. Okay, he's wounded. I have to carry him. I give you his back. So now you have one yours here. Other one you're gonna keep it here in front of you.
Damn.
So you know that's kind of what they do,
pretty cool.
right? Like they kind of trying to give you a little bit of taste of what it is going through the selection process.
That's interesting.
And it kind of stick with me. I did the Go Rock, and I was like, man, like rock runs are pretty cool, and it actually
Important too.
I shouldn't say save my life, but when I went to military finally, I think it paid off all these years of doing so. And the reason why, because when I got to the platoon, sniper platoon, I got right away sent to this course. It was, I think they called it basic scout course. Basically, it wasn't scout sniper school. It was something that they trying to test it. I was basically the guinea pig. We were like the guinea pig of something new the Marine Corps is trying to implement.
Sweet.
They just don't know if they want to do it yet, right?
Okay.
So it was basically watered down sniper course. There was some stuff that you don't do fully like you will do in regular school, but you're still shooting all those guns and do cool shit, advanced land navigation, everything. So it was badass. I learned a lot because coming from North Carolina, where everything is flat, land navigation is completely different in mountains. You cannot apply the same technique that you will apply on the flat ground into mountains. Because I did that for day one, and I found one fucking point, and I couldn't climb physically up or down because I got trapped in the bushes, like thickness shit. I'm talking about thick shit. Like,
damn.
So I thought like, I'm gonna apply same thing what I already know, and that's not how. I had to almost like relearn fast whole land navigation, how this shit works. And but it like day 2, 3, I start figuring out how you have to do it. So it was cool. So that's also I'm so grateful for being in this course because it taught me so many things. So when we did later on ITX, guess what? I was hiking for 3 months doing the course, rock runs, hiking, land navigation, all in mountains in California. So I was like, dude, I'm fucking solid.
Yeah.
I can carry this 50 cal now. 50 caliber on my shoulder because I just literally I came back from ITX from the 3 months course and went straight almost to ITX. So I was conditioned. I was perfect.
So you even got prepped for the prep.
Yeah, you got prepped for the prep. Yeah. So
that's good.
Story about rock run. I never was good runner, even in the Marine Corps. And what I mean by this, I was running like 3 miles in 22 minutes.
Okay.
Which is pretty fast.
Yeah.
But it's not like Marine Corps fast.
Yeah.
Okay. I was never, I don't know, maybe I just don't try hard enough to be a good fucking runner, right? But when I got to the course out there, dude, I'm telling you, there's been few times when I got embarrassed and I couldn't keep up with the fucking runs. Like when the instructor would take off fast, and next thing you know, you're in the fucking end of formation, and you're just fucking fighting for your life, man.
Yeah.
And like you kind of falling out of the formation. It's like, fuck, that's bad.
Kinda wakes you up.
It wakes you up, but like it's like, fuck, man. Like everyone is fast. Those young kids out there, they're much younger than me. They fucking fast. The instructors are fast. Like you got a reconnaissance instructor, out there running. So tall guy with the long legs. I'm like, fuck. Like I just can't run this fast as they do.
Yeah.
I wait more and. Like no excuses. It's just like overall,
there's a lot of variables in it.
I'm not that kind of guy. And I know the people, man. They never run in the Marine Corps. They smoke cigarettes, and they will run 20 minutes in 3 miles without even practice. I need to practice before my test to get like 22 minutes. So there is such a thing as being more gifted.
Yeah.
In something, right? I truly believe that. Like that doesn't mean that I cannot make 20 minutes. I can probably make 18 if I put my heart into it to try to get 18 minutes in 3 miles in 18 minutes. But there's such a thing as some people just comes more natural and it's easier for them to accomplish that.
Definitely.
Than me. But where I'm going with this story is, so now and now you guys know, I suck at running. I'm in this fucking course. It's a lot of running, and I'm suck at running, right? Well, come to the rock runs, so you got those hikes, right? Every other week, I think. And they all increase every time they increase. Mm-hmm. So longer distance, right? Well, what I find out was when we were running, I was like almost last one. If not, probably sometimes I was last one in formation. Mm-hmm. On rock runs, when we took mountains up, like it was fucking steep climbing out there. I start coming in like 6th, 7th out of the whole class, out of like 30 some people.
Okay, so that's a big jump.
So now like I'm looking at it like, okay, I suck at running, but I'm good at rock runs. That's what I'm good at it. That's when I can carry fucking weight relatively fast, and I can make good times, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember one time the same reconnaissance instructor got so fucking pissed at us because by the time we done, like so many people failed at time that they supposed to be completed. Mm-hmm. And he got so mad, start fucking screaming. He's like, only 7 of you fucking make it on time out of the whole class. This is a basic infantry shit. You have to fucking move. And I remember he gave us like the whole better speech about it. And I remember thinking, I was like, he is right. There's no excuses for me to falling out of fucking running formation. But really what the true core of infantry is being able to move, but not just in your shorts and fucking sneakers. Be able to move with boots, uniform, and heavy pack. Yeah. That's so much more important to be battle ready than just running on its own. Those two kind of, go together. You got to run. That's why, I'm still stuck at running, even worse now. I don't have to run for time or score. Mm-hmm. I do when I do testing. I still do, but it's not the same pressure as I was running in the Marine Corps.
Before, yeah.
Because I was like, your promotion depends on how fast you fucking run. So you're like, you run faster. You find the David Goggins 40% rule and you're like, fuck, yep, I got more in me. It's still to this day, dude. Like I can run. Like my best runs were like just a little bit under 22 minutes. So I was pushing like 7 minutes per mile. I can run like this right now.
Yeah.
I can make it 7 minutes per mile. Like I definitely slow down, but it is what it is. I can still run.
It's where your focus is at.
On Tuesday, 2 days ago, I ran for 4 miles, and I kept it under 10 minutes per mile. So for some people, that's a fucking jog. For some people, they might think like, oh my God, I can't even do that. And for me, it's like, I can do it, but like I understand I'm just not that fucking good at it. But I still do it because it sucks, right? And we believe here in Operation Win Today, do the uncomfortable, period. That's Definitely. Why we do cold showers, like not because it doesn't get you prepped for anything besides start your day with a little bit of fucking uncomfortable.
Just and set a standard for accepting discomfort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rock runs are cool.
They're important.
They This is what separates boys from men. Rock runs, in my opinion. Like, if you want to be better already, you gotta do a rock run. You can, like our program kind of starts you from day 1 to day 90, and it's all structure where it will get you there to be able to do those 9 miles with under 50 minutes per mile pace. So it's structured to build you up from the ground. Even if you've never done anything before, you can do this program and we'll get you to those 9 miles. Why are we doing this? Because again, that's what separates boys and men. Can you put the weight on and can you move? Period.
Ultimate survival practicality.
Exactly. So, is that it?
That's a lot of rucking.
That's a lot of rocking. Let's see. Do we got any questions about strain?
The ones I was going to ask, we basically talked about. Benefits, how it can kind of transfer into overall. Well, I guess, it's clearly going to help with physical strength, right? And what's cool is it's kind of like an endurance or a cardio exercise, but it's also a lot of a strength exercise as well,
Yeah. It's mental.
But mental, I was just going to say, with it being a mental exercise, it's just a matter of are you going further than you want to? Are you carrying more weight than you want to? Are you doing it when you don't want to?
Dude, when everything start hurting, that's when you start just thinking one step at a time.
Yep.
And I remember where in Pendleton, when I was in Camp Pendleton doing this course, was my most difficult rock runs. Now, understand, I just said the most difficult movement is when I did in ITX on the mission, right? That was the heaviest and difficult movement. But as far as endurance and how hard I pushed myself in Pendleton, because I wanted to prove also to the instructors, look, I suck at running, I get it, but I can hang here. I'm good at rock runs. I can have some good times. I'm not the fastest guy, but I'm strong. If that makes sense, and I can move fast once you give me a weight, and that's what kind of separate me from big group of people. Oh, okay, he sucks at running, but the basic shit that he needs to do, which is moving with a heavy weight, he actually does relatively good. So I push myself extra hard, man, on those rock runs, and I got to the point where I was so exhausted pushing so hard where you literally obviously you're dripping sweat, right? Mm-hmm. It's middle of summer too.
Yeah, fuck
but
all that.
In California, but I was cold, if that makes sense.
It was started to reverse.
Well, no, I was still overheating, but I felt oh man, I'm cold. That's how I think it's a first sign of start being a little bit of heat case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's starting to backtrack now.
Dehydrated too much, Yeah. But luckily, I never was a heat case my entire time when I was in the Marine Corps. But because once you're a heat case, you're prone to be a heat case all the time. Heat case is basically when you get
just overheated.
Overheated, your body shuts down. You can get seizure. From it, you can actually fry your brain. If your temperature, I forgot what's the temperature, it needs to go above, you literally will cook your fucking brain. You can become vegetable if it gets that bad. And it happens something like that in boot camp during our crucible. So during our crucible, that was South Carolina in August. South Carolina in August. If you've ever been in South Carolina, Paris Island in fucking summer, it sucks. But they issue you a MRE during Crucible, and the MRE they don't tell you when to eat. Big boy rules, motherfucker. You do with this whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, we all kind of wanted to save it for later because you never know when they're gonna give you one, if they're gonna even give you another one. So in the beginning, it was well, why the fuck are we gonna eat this, right? Well, problem becomes when you don't eat, but you only drink water and you don't eat salt, you start flushing your body, right? So you start pissing and basically using all the electrolytes, which will lead to dehydration. It was so hot, we did a lot of heavy, fast movements, maybe not so heavy, but fast, to the point, again, I was exhausted, but I was eating those MREs, kind of the salt packets, and I saved more salt packets from other MREs that we had issued before, and I was just putting salt and water. I just put a whole pack of
Pretty
salt.
smart.
I knew it, like, that's one thing, like, I need fucking salt, right? Well, apparently this one kid, he really didn't eat much chow. He just drank plenty of water. He literally got into fucking seizure to the point where he had to be airlifted to the hospital.
Damn.
Like, he collapsed. And from my understanding, when we were in chow, after Crucible was over, the instructor told us that he pretty much fried his brain. That's how hot he got. So it can fuck you up. Like, you just become a vegetable at one point. Now, I would say 99% of heat cases are not that dramatic. Typically,
But it can get to that point.
It can get bad. And what sucks about it, once you got it you prone to be dead. Like, when you show them to the courses, different courses, first thing there's like, who is the heat case here? Because the instructor want to know, like, okay, well, I need to keep eye on you.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Damn.
so
it's like opening a can of worms once you have your first one.
Exactly. But again, I never had it, heat case, but I was pushing myself so damn fucking hard on this course with the rock runs, where I literally, I was worried actually. When I was continue running and I was
Start
looking
getting cold.
I have like 3 more miles to go or something like that, and I'm like, man, like that's just not a good feeling. I should be feeling hot. If you're feeling hot, that's a normal reaction, because that's what you're supposed to feel when you sweating and your body's working hard. You're creating a lot of heat.
Okay.
When you start getting cold, but your body it's hot, it's like, okay, something's not right.
Now you can't even comprehend your heat.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But, everything came out fine and good, so no worries there. It just shows you, those times show like how much you can push yourself.
Yeah.
Because I smoked some guys that were like far better in shape than me, but they just didn't either had the heart to push it through the pain of mountains and weight. But overall, they were better, more physically fit beasts. Or maybe just because I did a bunch of go rucks and rock runs, maybe that's something
You had prep for the prep.
Yeah. So, well, anyways, guys, so listen, if you're interested in going into rock runs, maybe you prepping for boot camp, law enforcement agency, whatever, or just simply want to be better already, we have a program for you, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You follow the program, you download for free on our website, operationwintoday.com.
Free.
And we take you from day 1 to day 90. It's physically and mentally demanding. It will test you. It will suck. Even the tasks seem pretty easy. I promise you, trying to go through the whole 90 days without slipping, it's tough. And if you slip, well, we keep, just like in the boot camp, we recycle you to the phase that you're starting. So if you fail in phase 2, you don't go back to day 1, you go back to day 1 of phase 2. Yes. And so you don't get kicked out of challenge. Some challenges or, programs.
You don't get totally flicked back to the beginning.
Or
it's the phase that you're in.
You just have to redo that fucking phase since you fucked it up. But the little things that you would think won't get you, that's what will get you. The writing goals. Cold shower, it just sucks. You gotta do it. I don't think so. That's, just wake up and what are you gonna quit?
Just do it.
Yeah. Not hitting snooze, they can get you kicked out. This is something where you might hit the snooze and then you fuck yourself, because one of our first thing what we trying to do is to win the first battle of the day, which is don't hit snooze. The alarm goes off. You gotta get up. You gotta move. You gotta be on mission. Be on mission every single day.
Don't start your day with a loss.
Life, it's the one big battlefield, and you have bunch of daily wars that you must win. Those daily battles, I should say.
Life is one big war, and you got daily battles.
That's exactly what I meant to say. And you got to win those battles. So you got to start your day right. You have to attack the day aggressively and continue pushing forward, guys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we see you in the next time.
Jaeger out.
Jaeger out.